And then with Women's manager Ryan Dempsey on a kind of an updated fans forum, just me and you, and then a reflection on 2023 and a look ahead and beyond. Firstly, Ryan, we'll start with questions from the from our fans' unofficial Facebook page. So the first one was: is there any news about establishing an academy program for the girls section?
No concrete news at the moment. I think it's something that I think we'll always try to explore. There's probably questions for when we come together as a club, maybe January, February, to discuss the plans for 2024-25 season. I think it's something that we really want to try to do. One, obviously, to help get more girls, young women playing football within the local area, but also from a performance point of view to help feed our reserve and our first team. I think it's something we've actively tried to do this season in terms of bringing some younger players. Obviously, I think there's Luna is probably the one who's local, and then obviously we've got Shakira and Angel from a little bit further afield. But yeah, something that, pardon me, I think myself and Jamie are really passionate about, and it's things that we've worked with in the youth area, the last 10 years or so. So yeah, it's definitely something on our radar, and hopefully there'll be some news in the coming months.
Kind of tied into that one then as well was the second question of three was there any news on then the creation of maybe age group specific teams or maybe a younger age group within the football club?
Again, yeah, pretty similar answer. I think that one's probably just boiled down to the infrastructure we have at the moment. Being honest, I think obviously being where we are, the not really accessible to have that many pitches like in and around where we are. So I think we could set up age group teams pretty easily, but then it's just making sure that anything that is set up, everything is in place for the infrastructure to ensure that the experiences that the young players have is top as they can. I just think at the moment, I don't think we've got that infrastructure at the moment, but I think it's something that we'll be probably touching on or looking to try to do in the near future.
So the final fan question then. The performances this season have been outstanding, and the new players have settled in really well. What do you put that down to?
Well, that's a good question. So I think like sitting down, with Jamie, with Mike as well, and James and Lee, like we reflect on the last season and where we fell short in games, as individuals, collectively, as a squad, as a coaching staff, and I felt like we brought players in that have come in who maybe played at a higher level, but a little bit younger. So I think a majority of our players age range is between 16 and 23 that we brought in, who all good standard, all had good coaching previously. So I think from that point, I felt we did really well. It was obviously bringing in like 7 or 8 new players. It's difficult. You don't know how they're going to gel. But I think personality-wise, they all get on really, really, really well. I think that's probably the main thing. I think they've also bought into our non-negotiables and what we discussed at the beginning of the season, in terms of we've increased the squad size a little bit to ensure that we've always got a full squad for every game this season. I think there's only been one which we haven't had a full squad. I think that was only because that person was unwell overnight. So I think from that point, I think we've scored with more goals. I think I might have said it last year, if you're better in both boxes, then you're always going to do well. I think we've kept 9 or 10 clean sheets, I think, this season. So I think that's just over half the games we played in. I think we scored over 60 goals as well. I feel like we probably could have scored more and should have scored more goals than we have done. But I think the main thing is, getting everyone in and buying into what we want to achieve for this season and moving forwards, and everyone putting in the right direction.
Moving on then and away from the fan questions. kind of looking at the last 12 months or so, and then looking ahead to the future in a new year. But for you, what are your reflections on 2023? And it's kind of, I suppose, been a bit of an up and down year, isn't it, for the women's side?
Yeah, well, I think yeah, January last year, I think we were kind of on the outset or just on the outskirts of challenging for promotion. I think we if we would have won majority of our games, I think we would have still been thereabouts. I think it was the Sutton and the AFC Acorns game, I think it was, who are now Crawley AFC. I think dropping points there, yeah, kind of derailed our season a little bit. And I kind of feel like that was part of what we wanted to really improve on for this season in terms of our recruitment, and to ensure that we had a little bit more energy in the team. Yeah, maybe a little bit more technical players in the attacking areas. So I think we definitely done that. And then yeah, moving on to this season, I suppose before you get the fixture list, I suppose Dartford away is probably one of the hardest games of the season. So like having that first game of the season was a little bit challenging. Having I think 6 new players in the starting 11 and a couple more on the bench. So but I think what really helped that was, I think some of the players knew exactly what to expect from the season going forward, like coming out of other tier 5s and dropping down from tier 3. Like the standard is improved so much now. And then obviously losing to Ebbsfleet as well, which I kind of felt like that was a bit gutting because our performance was really good in the day, and just some individual errors that cost us on that. But I think from Ebbsfleet onwards, I think what Jamie and I discussed was we thought that would happen. It might be difficult to begin with, but then moving on, once players got used to playing with each other and they became a group like they have done, we thought the performances and most importantly the results would pick up. And yeah, we're really impressed with how everyone's adapted to how we want to play. Different formations within the games, and different tactics as well. So yeah, we've been really pleased with up until now.
Perfect. Okay, then. So maybe a more specific one for you so far. What's been your best moment?
Oh God, I don't know. To pick, it's probably between the two. Really, it's probably between London Bees, obviously being London Bees, like at home in front of I think it was 600 people there. But not only that, I think one of the things that we were really pleased in, which goes on to the second point in terms of the Billericay performance, we made the decision that no matter who we were going to play this season in the FA Cup, that we were going to still continue to play how we want to play. I think previously, if we played tier 3 or tier 4 team, we might have adjusted and been a little bit negative and try not to get beat. But I think what we want to do is change the mindset of some of the players, also of the players. Yeah, we want to go out and still play the same way, obviously with some minor adjustments. But yeah, and to go out and play London Bees, yeah, again in front of 600 people, and arguably 2-0 was probably wasn't a fair reflection of the game. It probably should have been 4 or 5 from how we played. Yeah, just to see the celebrations is like with the players and the fans, and then yeah, to counteract that, probably Billericay as well. Like I think first half we played really well, and arguably again unlucky not to be a couple goals up in the first half. But then I think Billericay came back and proved what the difference maybe is between a tier 3 and a tier 5 team. Currently they played really well. They changed their system and they stepped their game up a little bit, but I think it just gave all the players extra confidence, and kind of when I would know gauge at where we're at. And I don't think we should go into any game other than with the expectation of trying to win and trying to perform.
I'll agree with you on the post-match celebrations against London Bees. It was certainly one of the highlights I've had watching women's football for so long. So looking ahead then to the rest of the season, there's a big 4 or 5 months coming up. Yes, give me your thoughts on that, the next kind of 4 or 5 months, and where we go from here.
Yeah, so obviously you always want to be at Christmas time, I suppose, in a good position, depending on obviously your targets and objectives for the beginning of the season. So obviously, a finishing, I think, 20 points off promotion last year. Obviously, our objectives are always to try to gain promotion, but I think we're always realistic that we wanted to at least be within challenging distance of the top or first place. And being where we are at the moment, thereabouts. So I think if we win our game in hand, we can go second. Obviously, Dartford, I've got 2 games in hand and 6 points clear. But we've also got to play them in January as well. So I think January is a really big month for us, where we've got, I think we've got Dartford, Tottenham under 21s in the Capital Cup away, and then Ebbsfleet as well. So a really big month for us in January, which is exactly what you want. You want to be involved in big games. But yeah, I think if we play as well as we have done, and continue to improve, which obviously I think everyone would admit that we can always improve, like from the players to the coaching staff as well. And yeah, we're really excited and hopeful that we'll be there or thereabouts. Yeah, between now and April, May, I suppose it is.
Okay, and the more wider picture then, aims for 2024 and beyond, and don't just say promotion.
Well, yeah, number one promotion, but I think yeah, I think like going back to one of the questions for the supporters, I think yeah, trying to safeguard like the future, I suppose, for the women's team in terms of ensuring that there's always players coming in. So I think, yeah, for 24-25, I think it'll probably be hopefully like an under 16s, under 18s or 21s team. I think that will probably be like from my point of view what we want to try to implement. Yeah, again, just trying to keep on improving. I think we can get more people through the door, spectator wise. So I think that's something that will be, I think, would be really important from the club perspective as well. And like trying to get the right people involved from that, and hopefully drum up some more support and more interest, because it's definitely out there. It's just yeah, I suppose making sure people are aware of that. Yeah, and hopefully, yeah, just keep on improving and making people enjoy coming to watch Dulwich, I suppose.
And then finally, actually, is more focused on the reserves. Obviously, the reserves are flying as well in their league. How impressive you've been with them, and obviously that Sian's come in as well and won her first game a couple of weekends ago too.
Yeah, I think yeah, the reserve done super well. So Helen took over from when obviously Jack left to go to Whiteleaf. I think Helen's in New Zealand still, I think. So she's back in January to help Sian when she gets back. But yeah, it's a brand new squad as well. So I think it's one of the areas we wanted to try to do is try to improve the reserve squad in terms of what numbers, but quality and their age as well. So I think that the age group of the reserves is similar makeup to the first team. We have 4 or 5 of those players that train with us on Thursdays to ensure that there's a good pathway from there as well, and to ensure that the players that are playing well for the reserves, we know who they are and we invite them in to train. And it's another part of the club which, again, we can improve. I think having a training ground there now as well, which is their home pitch, has already improved the demeanour and like the positivity from the reserves. Now they have a home pitch, so that's doing really well. And Sian's hit the ground running. She's super impressive person to be involved. That's fitted in really well with everyone. The players seem to really like her as well. Very honest, very down to earth. Knows football really, really well. Obviously knows the local area as well, being local and working for Millwall previously. So from a recruitment point of view and from a young person point of view, recruitment as well. Yeah, been super impressed with how they've done it. And again, they're in the hunt for the title as well. So hopefully by the end of the season we'll have we could have a double celebration on our hands.
Perfect. I think that's a very good point to leave that on, and maybe come May or June time we'll be celebrating a double promotion.
Hopefully, yeah.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah.